My goal until the end of the video is that I have managed to convince you to start reading. So when I started reading, I frankly didn't enjoy it. I thought it was overrated, frankly boring, and things just weren't working out. But I went through it, started reading the books that I liked, and everything changed. And I'm going to share this with you. So about 3 years ago, I ordered one of the most popular books in the self-improvement space, Atomic Habits. I started reading the book, and frankly, it just felt boring and kind of pointless, right? I mean, why would I be reading this if I could be, I don't know, watching YouTube or watching Netflix or playing video games? And so I didn't really stick with it that well. I kept thinking about the other things that I could do, of how boring it was, and to be honest, I gave in, right? I started watching YouTube and all those things. I'd read a little bit, but then I'd get bored and I'd just, never mind. It's not that good, right? Doesn't work. Let's go on to YouTube to see the next thing. And because of this, it took me a lot longer than it should have to finish a book. And even though I finished it, I didn't learn that much. I learned something. I'm not going to say I didn't learn anything, but I didn't learn anywhere near as much as I could have and should have, because I didn't know how to read properly. I didn't know how to learn. I wasn't used to it. It was a new thing. But it was an accomplishment because it was a successful mission. I didn't really read books before except for school like we all have. So I pushed myself through the mud in that case, right? And I forced myself to finish a book that I wasn't, like, I didn't need to. I didn't need to read it, but I forced myself to do it. And that's a big accomplishment. Let's think of attention for a second. Attention is a currency of today's world, right? Every single company wants it. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they want your attention. And they've got it, just like I have your attention right now. You may think this video is free, but it's not. You're paying me. You're paying me with your attention. And oftentimes when we go on these platforms, we often get a very bad return on our investment, right? Because that's what it is. It's a payment, it's an investment, but you get very little back. You watch videos and videos and videos, and after them, maybe you don't even remember what was in it. You might remember the videos that you watched, but do you remember the advice within it? Will you remember it in a few hours? A day? 2 days? A week? This happens because it's a very easy thing to do. It's all digested for you. There's no effort, and it's passive. It's like a movie. They feed you the things, right? You're not hunting for the food. They just grab it, put it on a spoon, and feed you the food. It's all passive. You're not making any effort whatsoever. But with reading, you are actively putting effort into reading someone's thoughts. Think about that for a second. You're literally reading thoughts of someone else. You're in the mind, in the head of someone else. And oftentimes, if you pick the right books, you're reading the thoughts of like great people. You're no longer just being, fed the food. You're actually cooking it. You're getting the food. You're cooking it, and then you're tasting it. And it really stays with you. It stays with you definitely a lot more than videos. Because, see, let's just put it in this way. When you pick up a book about any single topic, it's got maybe around 300 pages. 300 pages of a topic. 300 pages. How many pages do you think a YouTube video has, the average? Not that much. So naturally, since it's 300 pages, you can pick up a book from an actual expert in the field and go in depth in that topic. It's not just the basic stuff that YouTube says and TikTok, like, oh, do this and this. But the why, the how, the who, everything, how to implement it, what to implement, and you actively do it. And you read and you think, oh, I could do this in my life. All right. And YouTube, you're just like this. You're like a zombie. You're listening to it, but then you forget all the stuff. And with books, this is not the case. And another thing, in relation to attention, what's our attention spans like? It's so short nowadays. It's just reels and TikToks and shorts, one after the other. Try and read a book. That is boring. It's very boring. And you need to stay attentive at it for a long period of time, because it's not a reel. It's not 30 seconds or less than a minute. It's a lot of minutes. It's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at one thing. So naturally, you will counteract this, right? TikTok takes away your attention span. It makes it shorter. Reading makes it longer because you are actively forcing yourself to pay attention to something over a long period of time. So pick a book about a topic you are genuinely interested in. Read it, force yourself to, finish it, and then just read more books. And that's very important, use the knowledge that you read. Do that for long enough and your life will never be the same again. Thanks for watching. Strive for progress, not perfection.